The wind did not howl so much as it screamed, tearing across the empty highway like something alive and furious. Snow slammed sideways into the truck, rattling the doors and blinding everything beyond a few feet. The world had been reduced to white chaos and darkness, the kind of storm people only survived by staying inside. That was when he saw them. Shapes in the blizzard. A large dog standing rigid, unmoving, her body curved protectively around two tiny figures that trembled at her feet. The Navy SEAL's hand froze on the door handle, his breath catching as a realization hit him harder than the cold ever could. If he drove past them, they would not survive the night. Before the story pulls you deeper into this frozen moment, take a second to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and small acts that change lives forever, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because people like you still believe they do. He had survived combat zones where the ground shook from explosions and the air smelled of metal and fear. He had learned to move forward even when instinct screamed to stop. Yet here, alone in a blizzard far from any battlefield, his hands were shaking. Not from fear, but from something heavier. Responsibility. The truck's heater hummed softly, wrapping him in warmth that now felt undeserved. Outside, the temperature was dropping fast, the kind of cold that crept into bones and silenced hearts. The mother dog's fur was stiff with ice, her ears pricked forward, eyes locked on the truck with a mix of terror and defiance. She did not run. She did not bark. She simply stood there, daring the storm or the stranger to come closer. He had been driving for hours after a long volunteer shift helping disaster relief teams farther north. The roads were supposed to be clear. The forecast had been wrong. Or maybe nature just did not care. His phone had no signal. No nearby towns. No traffic. Just him, the storm, and a choice that would define the rest of the night. He opened the truck door, and the wind exploded inside like a living thing, stealing the breath from his lungs. Snow piled instantly on the seat, and the warmth fled as if frightened. He stepped out anyway, boots sinking deep, muscles screaming as the cold punched through his jacket. The mother dog tensed, shifting slightly to shield her puppies. They were impossibly small, their legs shaking so badly they could barely stand. One stumbled, falling into the snow, and the mother nudged it back upright with her nose, her movements gentle despite the panic in her eyes. The men crouched slowly, careful, remembering training that said sudden movements meant danger. He extended a gloved hand, palm open, not to grab but to offer. The wind tore at his words, but he spoke anyway, low and steady, the same tone he once used to calm frightened civilians in war-torn villages. Minutes stretched like hours. His knees burned from the cold, snow seeping through his gear. The mother dog took a step forward, then another, her eyes never leaving his face. She sniffed the air, catching his scent, reading something she understood better than language. The puppies whimpered softly, their cries nearly swallowed by the storm. Finally, with a decision that felt as heavy as any he had made in combat, the dog allowed him closer. Getting them into the truck was not easy. The mother resisted at first, panic flaring when he lifted one of the puppies. Her body trembled as if torn between fear and trust. But the moment the puppy touched the warm seat and let out a tiny sigh, something changed. The men worked quickly, shielding them with his body, one arm around the mother as snow blasted his face. She jumped in last, spinning once, then collapsing beside her babies. The door slammed shut, sealing out the storm. Silence followed. Not true silence, but the kind that comes after chaos, where you can hear your own heartbeat. The heater roared, blasting warmth back into the cab. The puppies pressed against their mother, tiny chests fluttering as they breathed. The men sat behind the wheel, hands resting on it, eyes fixed on the scene beside him. He had seen injured teammates carried into helicopters, had held hands that went cold under his grip. This was different. This felt like life being handed back to the world, fragile and precious. He wrapped a spare blanket around them, his movements slow, respectful. The mother watched him closely but did not growl. Her body relaxed inch by inch as the warmth soaked into her bones. Ice melted from her fur, dripping onto the floor mats. One of the puppies crawled clumsily toward the man's leg, nose twitching, then curled up against his boot. Something tightened in his chest, a pressure he had learned to ignore but never truly escaped. He drove carefully, hazards flashing, cutting through the storm at a crawl. Every mile felt uncertain. The road disappeared more than once, forcing him to stop and wait, trusting instinct and memory. The dogs slept, their breathing steady now, safe. With every glance toward them, memories surfaced uninvited. Nights spent freezing in foreign mountains. Dogs used by locals for protection, loyalty without condition. A promise he had once made to himself that if he ever had the chance to save instead of destroy, he would take it. Hours later, lights appeared through the snow like stars breaking through clouds. A small ranger station stood half-buried, its windows glowing faintly. He pulled in, relief washing over him so strongly his hands trembled again. Inside, the warmth was overwhelming. The staff stared in disbelief as he carried in the mother dog and her puppies wrapped in a blanket, snow still clinging to his shoulders. There were questions, calls made, towels and food brought out. A veterinarian was contacted. The puppies were hypothermic but alive. The mother was exhausted, malnourished, but strong. As the adrenaline faded, he sat alone on a bench, head in his hands. The weight of everything he had carried for years seemed to settle all at once. He thought about how close he had come to driving past. How easy it would have been to justify it. Someone else might help. It was too dangerous. He was tired. The storm was unforgiving, but so was regret. Days passed. The storm cleared, leaving behind a world sparkling and clean, as if nothing bad had ever happened. He checked in on the dogs every day. The puppies grew stronger, their eyes opening to a world that had nearly ended before it began. The mother greeted him each time with cautious affection that slowly turned into unmistakable joy. Her tail wagged now, her eyes bright. She trusted him completely. When it came time to decide their future, the answer surprised no one but him. He filled out the papers with steady hands. The mother dog lay at his feet as if she had always belonged there. The puppies tumbled over one another, clumsy and full of life. His truck, once silent and lonely, was now filled with warmth, fur, and the soft sounds of breathing that meant home. Near the end of this journey, before the final moments settle in your heart, we ask you for something special. Please comment below with a simple word or message about kindness or hope. Your words help this story reach others who need it more than you might realize. On the drive home, the road felt different. The same snowbanks lined the highway, the same trees stood frozen in place, but the world seemed lighter. The men glanced in the rearview mirror, catching the mother dog's eyes. She held his gaze, calm and certain. He realized then that rescue is never one-sided. Sometimes, the ones we save are the ones who save us right back. As the sun dipped low, casting gold across the snow, he thought about the night of the storm. About opening a door when every instinct said to keep it shut. About choosing compassion when no one was watching. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even in the coldest moments warmth can be found, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. Your engagement keeps stories like this alive. The truck disappeared down the road, carrying a Navy SEAL, a once freezing dog family, and a quiet truth that would last a lifetime. Sometimes, the smallest decision, made in the worst conditions, becomes the most powerful act of humanity we will ever know.